Good morning and welcome to Clip on Comics. We've got Brandon joining us from Dismay Comics, and we'll be right after this. We'll be right back after this important message. I don't care that it's 8 a.m. Get your children out the fucking room. This show is uncensored. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. Wake up, get you some coffee, get you some Mountain Dew, zero sugar, whatever it needs to be.
So that one has real sugar?
It's probably
it's like the original. I didn't take a good look. Is that zero?
It's the zero sugar.
There you go.
I mean, I'm sure there's some not great stuff in it.
It is sugar alcohols. It is sugar alcohols. It is technically the least toxic of them all for you. And even the aspartame, all right, in a Diet Coke, technically any normal, healthy, functioning gut, before it makes it, your intestine will dissolve the aspartame that's there. Again. But I am not a certified food nutritionist, but you can find one and talk to them.
There we go.
As I always tell people, look after your health and go and find a real professional who you like and trust. Not people like, I don't know, Joe Rogan.
Yeah. If you
just please don't use the internet as the basis for your health habits.
Yeah. If you're not that there's anything wrong with the carnivore diet, but if you are wanting the carnivore diet, want to eat elk meat, and are just really wanting to get into DMT, maybe I guess Joe Rogan might be the alley. I don't know. That's the only things I hear from that man.
That's not the only thing I hear from that man. But speaking of things we want to hear about, I like to play a little game where we get to know our guest and talk about all fun things comics. So, Brandon, the first question, how tall are you?
6'7".
Jesus, you're even taller than my ex. You're taller than my ex-fiance was 6'6", and I was like, Jesus, what am I doing with somebody so tall? But we look great together. We passed the mirror test because I'm 6'3", so that was always very helpful.
There you go. Yeah. I've got Dutch ancestry in me, so that's like it's like the tallest of the nations and stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like that makes a lot of sense.
See, that works, and that probably helps lend to your deeper voice. There you go. Congratulations.
The voice actually, it's even worse today. I got over strep, but everything is okay. My voice is still coming back, so it sounds even deeper and like hoarser today. Or it sounded like that yesterday as well, but so it's even crazier today.
Did you get any of the burning sensation from the strep, or you're all right?
No, it was mostly like the first night sort of thing. I had chills and stuff.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
And yeah, it was real bad, but I was taking stuff to like suppress it. I was taking like Dayquil and ibuprofen and stuff, and then 2 days of that, it was like, I'm just suppressing this. It's not going away. Then I got antibiotics, and it helps so much. The voice is still coming back though. Because
they do their freaking job, the antibiotics. Again, the benefits of seeing a health provider.
Yes.
So yes, you'll never believe when I got strep for the first time in my life.
What happened?
It was a lovely evening in the year 2020, and it was Friday, March 13th. And as you know, that was the last day before the first COVID lockdown in the United States, right? So I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. We're having a nice time, and I am so cold, and I am shaking, and I'm not feeling well, and I'm wearing the mask. I start wearing a mask and everything, and everyone's really panicked. And I go home with the chills and everything, and I have the most horrible experience for the next 2 days, right? And my mother's scared, and my cousin's visiting, and she's scared. and no one will come in my bedroom, right? Because all they can think about is, oh no, COVID. And then Sunday, my mother starts to get sick, right? And my cousin is really freaking out because she just visited us. So Monday, I drag my ass and my mother's ass to the doctor, and everyone there is in panic mode. They've got the KN mask on, they got shields, they got everything. They're so freaking scared because all these people are coming to visit because they're sick. And they give my mother and I strep and flu, right? Test, right? I came back positive for strep, and my mother came back positive for the flu. And my doctor sent all sorts of shit to the pharmacy. When I got to the pharmacy had a big shield, right? I'm wearing my mask. I'm trying to get to the pharmacy. The lady behind the pharmacy is there. And I was like, I'm here for my stuff. She's like, all right, don't even move. And she's got this big bag, and she threw it over the shield into my hands. And I said, what about the copay? She goes, you're going to get out of here. So that was then. Then we make it all the way to November of 2020. And my mother and I got freaking COVID, right?
Dang.
It was just after Halloween weekend. I went to 2 weddings, scared for my life. 2 weddings. My mother went to Rhode Island. My mother came back with it, and she had to sign all sorts of stuff everywhere she went, right? That she wasn't exposed. But her friend went with, I'm not going to talk bad about her friend that she went with, but her friend that she went with belonged to, you know what, whatever. Her friend that she went with belonged to a Bible study group, and the Bible study group continued to meet even after the lockdown, and their pastor loved to hug everybody. So as soon as she got back from that, she gave it to me. We both got sick. It was a whole ordeal. We were sick all the way into Thanksgiving. And again, I had to go and get whatever my doctor sent Z-Pack and a few other things to help us, right?
Threw over the shield as well. It's like,
yeah, yo, hunger.
Saw you coming. Here you go.
Yo, she threw it over the shield, right? She's like, just run home. Just get out of here. I was like, copay, you're good. It's the only 2 times in my life I paid 0 copay. All right, that was a long story. I'm sorry I put us all through that.
No.
Right. Brandon, all right, the next and there's 2 important questions I'm going to follow up with. What actually got you reading comic books?
So the first thing that got me reading comic books was, it's kind of multiple. There's 2 specific things. First thing was, I was in the mall one day, and they have t-shirts, obviously, in a mall. It's clothing. It was like a Dillard's or a Belk or JCPenney or something like that. And they had like a Spider-Man shirt. But I was a little kid. Sure, I like clothing as a little kid, but I like at some of these department stores, they had like toys or something attached to the clothing. That's where my eye was focused on. And with this Spider-Man shirt or shorts, I can't remember exactly if it was both, it was a reprint copy of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, like with the shirt. And so I got that shirt and got that, and I was reading, I was like, this is great. Like I never really like read any Spider-Man to that point. At that point, it was like the for people my generation, a big introduction of Spider-Man was Sam Raimi's movies. So that's what I had seen. And then getting this, I was like, oh, this is great. So that, and then around the same time, my mom, we used to go yard selling like all the time when I was a kid. And we went to one yard sale, and guy just had a shoebox of comics. It was stuff from like the 70s to the 90s. It was just a assortment of stuff, like random Amazing Spider-Man issues, random Action Comics issues, random Marvel and DC stuff, like DP7 from Marvel is just random stuff. But I just tore through that. Yes, it's very random. I think there was also like some Valiant stuff. There was like Solar and stuff like that. It was just all over the place. But I just tore through that, and all of it was like part 5 of a 12-part arc or whatever.
Of course.
So I was just
you're like
thrown in. Exactly. I was thrown into the middle of it, but I still just loved it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. But then like I didn't have a comic shop near me, nor did I know about comic shops at that time at such a young age. So I'd be reading the Amazing Spider-Man thing, and it's like, oh, well, looks like this is the end of the story for me. Spider-Man is chained up over a vat of acid, and this guy might kill him or not. But I just kept rereading that sort of stuff. So that was like my initial thing that got me into comics, was those two initial starting points.
That's freaking incredible. And I love that. And it's so funny because it was terrible. Like, one of the earliest books I picked up as a kid was an issue of All-Star Squadron. Superman is wailing, or Shazam is wailing Superman on the cover. I'm like, this is fascinating. What's going on here? And it was like 11 years before I ever found the sequel to that book or anything, you know?
Yeah. That's what it was for me, was like a lot of that stuff. It wasn't till like high school or even like early college where I like went back and like got some of that. Like Spider-Man 2099. Sorry about that.
How young are you so that we can all feel old?
I'm 27. I'm 27.
Oh, Bruce, he's 27. Oh my goodness. And he's 6'7"?
7, yeah. 6'7".
Ooh. I don't know if you can climb a tree that tall, Bruce.
But yeah, like I just have been into comics since, like getting into like buying monthly, which I'm kind of out of that now. Maybe one day I'll get back into it. But buying monthly, I got into in high school, because that was around the time, not trying to make people feel old, that was around the time when New 52 hit. And I was a buddy of mine gave me the trade for the first volume of Batman, Scott Snyder's Batman. And I remember reading that, and I was like, holy crap, like this isn't what I'm used to, sort of thing. Like, I read some Batman up until that point, but like not a lot. And so I just tore through that. I was like, and especially if you bought those volumes, like specifically volume 1, where it's Court of Owls. Mm-hmm. If you bought that, the very end is a cliffhanger. It's like all of the owls are headed to Wayne Manor, and that's where it ends with that volume. The next volume is Night of Owls. I saw that, I was like, wait, what the heck? Because I also didn't know about like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. I didn't know about that at that time, really. And so I was like reading, I was like, where's the rest? Like it just stops right here. And so that led me to going to, I don't even think it was a comic shop. It was either a comic shop or a Books A Million or like a Ollie's bargain outlet. And I eventually found volume 2, Night of Owls, and tore through that. And then I started picking up New 52 stuff, some of it kind of monthly at the comic shop.
Yeah, New 52 was a getaway from comics period for me. And you know, I mean, Scott Snyder's a lovely person. He's not one of my favorite writers. I have lots and lots of recommendations for Batman for you, though. One that is terribly underrated, and Batman fans should become aware of it. All right, is Batman Strange Apparitions. All right. Oh. That is an excellent, if you can find the graphic novel, it'll save you some time and money. But that is an excellent Batman story, and heavily features his love interest, Silver St. Cloud, who, although she's still kicking around out there, and she recently made an appearance on My Adventures with Superman, I don't think enough people know about her and her story, you know, but it is a great 70s story. Plus Hugo Strange is back from the dead. The Joker is back and he's killing people. It's great. Like, Batman Year One gets way too much credit for reinventing Batman. Batman Strange Apparitions deserves more credit. That is the one. I also heavily enjoyed Batman Gothic by Grant Morrison and Klaus Janson.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a real Batman story to me. That's a real Batman story. I know how awful that may make you sound, but that's a real Batman story. I am really big on it. And of course, like a lot of people, I really love Hush. And, Hush holds a special place in my heart because I do believe that I helped contribute to the ending, even though I have no proof, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, there's that's the thing, especially with Batman, because I mean, it's for DC, especially the past 40 years, at least past 35 years, it is the essentially like, this is our go-to moneymaker sort of thing. So they have so many Batman books and stuff, but that's also a good thing if you're a fan of Batman, because there's so many good Batman stories. There's just so many, and like you said, there's a lot that go under the radar. Like,
and they're
I'm a huge, yes. Like I'm a huge Superman fan, and there's also stuff that goes under the radar because everyone just wants to talk about All-Star Superman, which is good, but like there's more than All-Star Superman. Similar to with Batman, there's more than just Year One. There's more than just The Killing Joke. There's more than just these things. Yeah.
First of all, Jeff Johns actually managed to knock it out of the park 2 times. All right, Superman Brainiac and Superman and the Legion of Superheroes are 2 of my favorite runs of his on Action Comics. All right.
Yeah.
Mark Waid did a lovely job on Superman Birthright, even though I'm a little like about Superman being a vegetarian in that. Another great classic old school story, but it's only like 2 issues, is Must There Be a Superman, where he's being judged by the Guardians of the Universe. That's amazing.
That one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very short. That's why. John Byrne's Man of Steel. That is the series that made me want to collect comics and forever. Most people have heard of Superman for All Seasons, and Superman's Secret Identity is a great alternate reality where Superman is a dude who happens to be named Clark Kent, who happens to live in the real world, and that's a big joke. And of course, my other favorite, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore, where he closed the book on Silver Age Superman, which is just beautiful and heartbreaking. But yeah, there's not enough amazing Superman stories out there. Also, if you want a modern take on an old story, Superman Smashes the Klan, which is based on the Superman radio serial. That is excellent, but of course it's not like in canon, but it's a great story. But yeah,
it's
Superman
really
needs
good.
more love. Superman needs way more love. Also, my other problem. Most of Superman's best stories are Elseworlds, like American Alien, very good, but not in canon. So it's frustrating. But there's some
I'm
really
so glad you mentioned American Alien. Like, American Alien is so good. It's the one that I mean, there's a bunch I go to for people to read and look at because I like Superman a lot. Like, Superman's my favorite superhero.
Mine as well. Thank you.
And it's one of those things where, like, American Alien is the go-to for people that are like, like he's very much godlike. He's like here and stuff like that. But it's like he is from Krypton. Yes, he has these super abilities, but he was raised by Ma and Pa Kent his entire life. Like he has that farm boy like mentality within him in his adoptive parents who raised him. Like, he still has that heritage. It's not getting rid of that heritage. That heritage is still there. That culture is still a part of him. But he also has this other culture as well, this culture that has brought him up, and like, this is what leads him to, he's not human, but very much being human. And I think American Alien like captures that very well.
No, it does a beautiful job, and it's really important. It's too bad that it's written by Max Landis, but other than that, I enjoy it very much. Oh my god, man, that man got canceled so hard. He should have done a better apology tour, to be honest. So, oh my god. That said, I'm like, let me escape what I've just created here. But yeah, I just wish that there was just more fantastic, like, go-to Superman stories. But often I find myself going, "Oh, that one's really good. You should give that a try." And then people were like, and then my heart breaks because I love Superman. It's fun stuff. All right,
I'm trying to think. I do want to mention one thing regarding like my go-to Superman thing. yeah, it's if it's like I have go-tos, but it's also like what's a starter for someone like American Alien is kind of I'm not saying it's like my favorite Superman thing, but it's up there. It might be a good starter for people.
It kind of is.
Yeah, that one. Superman smashes the Klan to a degree. Like you have to be like if you're just getting into comics, maybe have to see sort of thing. But yeah, thinking about the ones that I'm thinking about, I guess American Alien for someone that's just getting into Superman might be a good start sort of thing.
I think so. Definitely, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah. See, Red Sun is excellent. And Elseworld Story. You know, although I gotta say, I am impressed with the caliber of Superman still being kind of Superman, even in the Stalin era.
Yeah, it just shows like that goodness that has just like always been in his DNA sort of thing. Like, yes, he's like right hand man of Stalin for a little while.
Yes, until he goes, you know what? You're not a very good person, are you?
Yeah. So it just shows it's within him.
It's within the realm. So this goes into question number 3. What led you to self-publishing? And then tell us about Gallows Man.
Okay. So what led me to self-publishing was very much it was a couple things. One, it was like, I don't know if like some of these would get picked up by a publisher, but it was also a mix of like, I kind of just want to like see some of the ins and outs of self-publishing and making comics and like just get familiar with a lot of this stuff. And so that's what led me to like self-publishing for the first time in 2021. And like ever since, like I've enjoyed it because one, with something like the Gallows Man, each of those issues are like weird page number sort of thing where it's like issue 1 is like 49 pages of story and then like some supplementary material at the end. Same thing with issue 2. Issue 3 is like 56 pages and then or 57 pages and then supplementary material at the end. And it's all because like I like that self-publish aspect because I am able to have the full control regarding. And here's the thing: I'm not saying like I'm pressing all the buttons. It's very much a collaborative effort with the artist, with Helen Bolton, with everyone that gets involved, with the cover artists that we have with Thomas Tikas and Rick Alves. Like, it's very much a collaborative effort, and everyone's voices get heard about like, hey, like maybe this, that sort of thing. But there's no executive above me. I'm not like discounting that. Like, I'm okay with working for a publisher one day, and I have stipulations and stuff. But with some of the stories I want to tell, it's like I'm okay with being able to have a 49-page comic with supplementary material at the end, because that's what the story needs from me, sort of thing. As well as like, this is also another thing with self-publishing. Gallows Man #4, that's been written since like 2017, 2018. Like, oof. All of these have the initial first draft of Gallows Man, which was first a screenplay, but then I changed it and re-edited it for a comic. Like, all of that first started in late 2017. So the ending has always been there since 2017. This is going to be interesting. Gallows Man #4, recently, I'm doing a complete rewrite of it, to where, and it's not like to jar the reader of like, oh, like he's just like switching up all of a sudden because right. because we know where the ending's going and he's switching up all of a sudden. It's not that at all. It's very much like I there's just something with Gallows Man #4 to where before I had to say a page count to it, but since it's being rewritten, it could be anywhere from 22 pages to 56 pages. And I'm excited about it because like I'm like, okay, like I like this. I like where it's going, sort of thing. So yeah, I've been working on that recently. That complete rewrite of issue 4.
I'm like, look, I completely relate, because I've been writing the same comic all of a few months now, and I just keep going back and changing. And what if I do this? And what if I do that? And do I want this? And do I want that? And then, of course, I'm always in a fantasizing malaise, like, oh, this would be really good as a glow in the dark cover. And I'm like, okay, come back to reality. Write the book. Don't plan the covers. Write the book.
Story first, then then
go nuts.
Yeah.
I need an artist to draw this shit out. You haven't even done that. You're already like, ooh, what a great cover that would be. Like, I don't know. I'm too much. But of course, I've heard a lot about Gallows Man, because I've seen you everywhere, doing your press tour. So tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, like first I want to mention the press tours. I'm thankful for everyone that had me on. Like, extremely grateful for everyone that helped spread the word, help get the book out there. What I did realize was more of a me thing. I didn't get burnt out towards the end, but I did realize, like, oh snap, like I have spent every other day like focused on this Kickstarter, and I not talking about like talking with people. That's the part I love. I love talking with people, being with people. The issue was like the marketing aspect. I got so in my head with the advertising, with this, with that, like there's all these little elements, and like you at least I eventually got to a point where it's like, hey, like I'm so grateful and thankful for like everyone that has like supported the book and like continues to support the book. And that's where I towards the last couple weeks, especially the last week of that campaign, that headspace finally happened where it's like, you know what, like, thank you guys. Like, thank you for the people that spread the word, that back the comic in any way. Like, that's where I'm content with. It doesn't mean I'm complacent. Difference between complacency and contentness. I am content with where I am, but I'm okay with striving for more. But I am content with what I have, and I am very, very grateful for everyone that supported this book. It's for those that don't know, it's Adam West Batman meets Inglorious Bastards. It's a fun, crazy, kind of dumb time sometimes, but it's a fun book. And issue 3, which just came out, I'm really excited for people to see that, because they get to see both me and Helen, how we have just like grown over the years, because like we've been working on this book for a few years now, like the Gallows Man as a whole, the series. And issue 1, fantastic. Issue 2, fantastic. Issue 3, fantastic. But you see that progression of writer and artist and comfortability that is there. And like issue 4, I'm just like extremely excited about. Like I issue 4, I'm not going to rush it. It's very much going to be one of those things where I'll set deadlines, but I'm not going to rush it, because it's one of those things where it'll be done when it needs to be done, sort of thing. Like it's the closing of this mini series. That doesn't mean there won't be more stuff within this world, because there's characters and stuff within this world, but of this mini series, it's the closing, and I just want to just make it just right for how I want the ending. But again, I'm thankful for everyone that's supported this book.
As it should be. You know what? I forgot to look for a trailer for this book. I think it's on the campaign page. There it is. Let's do it.
Back and better than ever, it's the Gallows Man. Witness action, humor, grotesque violence, and everything in between as the Gallows Man and his team try to stop the Nazi threat that has infiltrated their city. My my producers are saying it's Adam West Batman meets Inglorious Bastards. Whatever the hell that means. Well, what are you waiting for? Help support this series by backing The Gallows Man numbers 1 through 3 over on Kickstarter today. There, I did the ad. Will you let me go now? Okay, I'll say the stupid stuff. Baby, get back. Have you ever seen a dead body? No cap, these chicken nuggies be bussin', gang. Would you like to see a dead body? Morpheus, Dorpheus, Orpheus, go eat some walruses. Someone's getting a visit from the BB monster. There, I said it all. When will you let me go?
That man is such a good sport. Mr. Corley on Fiverr, I've worked with him like 5 times now. I send him a script, and every time I'm like, hey, like, if there's anything you're not okay with saying or whatever, just let me know. And he's like, here you go. Here's me saying all the stupid stuff that you wrote, saying me meow moo meow, I am a cow, and pee pee poo poo. And because at the end of every trailer that I have, especially if it's Gallows Man or Tales from Town City, like, he is the voice narrator. And the last half of that trailer, I'm always like, okay, I get with my buddy. I'm like, what are some just dumb and stupid stuff you would love to hear a 1940s radio announcer say? And we just bounce stuff back and forth. And it's like, all right, Mr. Corley, are you okay with saying all this? And he's like, all right, I got it. You betcha. But yeah, he's a great sport.
I think it's very funny. I really love it.
Yeah, I like it because, like, writing those trailers, it's not like making the trailer, I should also say, it's cost expense, not the best idea. I don't spend crazy regarding the trailers, but usually it's this includes for anyone that wants to do trailers or anything for Kickstarters or fundraising or anything, including the voice actor work and hiring an editor, like a video editor. It's usually, for all of that, between like $45 to $50 to $70 sort of thing for just like one of these trailers. And the thing is, I know it's not cost effective because regarding Kickstarter as well as like YouTube, you're pulling in 300-ish views, maybe 400-ish views. But that's not like the reason I do it. Like, starting out, when I first started out with Gallows Man #1 with that sort of thing, it was to like garner up this thing that could happen with this trailer. But like, since then, it's very much like, this is for me. Like, I just like seeing this sort of thing. It's another thing in like my portfolio, a feather in my cap sort of thing, where it's like, hey, like I can write dumb trailers as well if anyone wants a dumb trailer written or whatever. And I very much just enjoy them, because I remember a Thanksgiving a couple years ago, my dad pulls up one of the trailers. I had a Kickstarter for one of the issues of the Gallows Man or something. He pulls up the trailer to the Kickstarter, and he like shows it to my aunt. And like, I didn't expect her to laugh or anything, but she was looking at it. She's like, oh, huh? It's Gallows Man. We're at Thanksgiving. And she's like, that was really well done. She didn't laugh, but she did say, like, that was really well done. And I don't know, it was to see like my dad like proud of this over the top Kickstarter trailer about this guy who like kills and hangs bad guys and stuff. And he's just like, hey, look at this sort of thing. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Thank you.
It is nice. It's good to have support from family, you know? I occasionally experience that. Not as often as I'd like, but
Well,
oh my.
in talking about support, I'd say my mom is probably like, I mean, like there's a lot of big supporters. My mom is like the biggest supporter when it comes to like any of my creative ventures, not just comics, like literally anything. She's the biggest supporter. An example of this, I have a little story with this. When I was 10 years old, I wrote a book called Danny's Journal. It was published. There were 2 copies printed, basically. It was through this program at my school that they had, and they charge you like $50 for these 2 copies of the book. They're ripping parents off, but hey, make kids' dreams happen or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I wrote this book, and I was, again, 9 or 10 years old, and it was, I rediscovered it like a year or so ago, and I actually read through it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is wild for a 9 or 10-year-old to be writing, because it was very much like Joyride meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was like a ripoff of both. A 9 or 10-year-old like ripping off both and combining both. And it is wild. There are some crazy stuff with it. What's even wilder is I had how it was done, how the publishing thing for that was done. You didn't type it out. Like I wrote this in like paper for me, but I had horrible handwriting. I still do. I'm left-handed. I had horrible handwriting. And so I how you did is you had to write on this line paper, and they would scan it and then like press it, put it into the book, sort of thing. I had to go to my mom with my notepad, and was like, could you write this word for word for me on this line paper? And so she gets it, and she basically has to write/read everything I read. Her 9 to 10-year-old son, who is writing this, like, it's scary for
explicit story.
Yeah, very much. It's Joyride and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like I remember, because this was even I've mentioned it some here and there on like a month or 2 ago on a couple people's shows, and the thing that I always mentioned was like, I wonder what was going on in her head, like while she was doing this, like, oh boy, like we might need to get Brandon some help, or let's keep an eye on Brandon, or something like that. Like,
right?
Like what was going on in her head?
Okay, our kids okay.
But what's interesting is like I had thought about that, and with talking with people, I thought about that, and some people were like you should just like ask her, like, what did she think when she wrote that? And that was very much what my thought was like, oh, she's gonna be like, yeah, we were, like, we're kind of worried, sort of thing. But I actually, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I actually talked to her about it, because it got brought up in conversation. I was like, what did you think when you were like writing this, when you read like all this like crazy stuff that your 9 to 10-year-old was writing in the story? And her response was, I saw like you being creative. Like that's how I saw it. Like you were just expressing your creativity. You're expressing. That's how I saw it. Like I know you, Brandon. And I was like it was very much one of those moments. I was like, God, you're gonna make me cry right now, Mom. Stop it.
I was gonna say, I love how appropriate, aggressively relaxing. Speaking of someone who's raised too many goddamn kids, she was just happy you was a writing baby, and that's it. That's it.
It very much was. Yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah. I'm always very proud when my family acknowledges that, I have any talent, but mostly everybody just really wants me to be a professional. And I'm like, can I be a professional? Can I be the big gig Oprah of the comic world that I dream of being? Can't that be it?
There you go.
And then they always go, that sounds nice, but could you not say big gig Oprah? I don't know how else we're going to phrase it, but I'm going to keep trying.
Get that on a t-shirt.
Well, you know what? As soon as I'm done with all this branding, I will. And of course, just a reminder, again, no obligation or pressure, but a reminder. I've decided at this point, anything that I get in for this channel, I'm going to focus on the local food pantry because they really needed this holiday season. My original goal was, from now to December, I would help the toy drive, but YouTube doesn't do a payout until you hit $100. So I decided I'm going to shift that focus to helping the food drive. So again, if you're in the store, you can buy Cliff on Comics merchandise that says Cliff on Comics, Bussy Busters, Brother Load, all of my favorite words, and of course, any of that will go there, as well as anything on the channel or any of the memberships. And you know what? I didn't make a screen yet, but shout out to my 3 members: Scotty Vaughn, Brian LCS, and Dr. Von Hoot. So thank you. And I promise to do better and make sure that I have a slideshow thanking people. All right. Moving right along, because we both have places to be this morning, it turns out. Let's get into our comic of the week. Mine is going to be super simple because I've chosen Absolute Superman #1. I really went into this expecting to hate it, and instead the art is very good, the story is solid. It is a different Superman, but I guess it should be a different Superman, and I'm kind of okay with that. I feel the traits that I appreciate about Superman, most of them are there. Like Batman, he's a little bit more violent, but unlike Batman, he's not just like stabbing and cauterizing people. So I mean, like, that's something.
Around an axe and everything.
Yeah, and the axe. I'm so anti-axe. You're not Axeman, you're Batman. This is ridiculous. But I kind of enjoyed Wonder Woman, and I enjoyed this enough that I'm looking forward to issue 2. So props to Superman, props to Sandoval, who did an amazing job on the art here. Like, this is what I want from a comic. I want a solid story and gorgeous artwork, and that's it. Not like some titles that can give you gorgeous artwork, but not a solid story. I'm looking at you, Dark Crisis. And that's it. So that is my comic of the week. Sir, do you have something?
My comic of the week is going to be interesting. I don't have the comic. Haven't read the comic. But I made notes a couple days ago. And I'll show people. I made Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes for this show. And at the top, Absolute Superman #1. It's a want to read with an exclamation point. And then JSA #1 because it's Jeff Lemire. But Absolute Superman #1. Haven't read it, but pick of the week because I do really want to read it. And I do want to read JSA #1 as well.
Good morning to Legion. Good morning to
Mark.
Christina Payne. And good morning
Christina.
to Marcus. So yes.
Hey, what's up, Marcus?
So check out JSA #1. Also highly recommend. I mean, this probably easily could have been my pick of the week as well, because I did enjoy it. See, look at this. Look at this. See, Mark knows what's up. I can always count on Mark. I can always count on Mark for the DC support. That's just lovely. All right. Moving into our next one. So for our Bussy Busters, I'm playing a heavy duty game over here because I think that I have my Bussy Buster in here. I think I do. So we're gonna find out if this is the correct short box order with the correct Bussy Buster. So we're gonna get in there. And I'm going to find out if I'm horribly disappointed.
Yeah, we'll see if it's... Hopefully it's not the socks order or anything. Hopefully it is,
no.
Is what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not like... Not to mention, I would never... If I'm ordering socks like this, I'm a bigger perv than I thought I was. So, like... Ooh, it's looking interesting. It's looking interesting. Although I'm definitely sure it's not what I was hoping for. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Oh, this is not what I was looking for. But props to props to the short box. Yeah, it doesn't say who I ordered from, but props to them because it's well packaged. But Master of Kung Fu number 32 is in here.
Oh, nice.
So props to them for good packaging. All right. So I think I have my back up, and I'm pretty sure I'm losing my mind. So my backup is this lovely Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos number 95. I mean, this is an epic war cover, you know. And when we think of people fighting Nazis, you know, 7 doomed men, shirtless Nick Fury, shirtless Nick Fury. I'm here for it, baby. I'm here for it.
Marvel's going all out.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is it. This is a great backup as far as I'm concerned. You know, we got the Marvel Comics Group banner and everything. It's a 10 for 10 for me.
Perfect. That's awesome.
All right, sir. You are up.
All right, so mine, I got it like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So I guess it's not super recent, but it is recent.
Doesn't have to be recent to qualify. That's the beauty.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I got it 2 or 3 months ago because I got a like craving to rewatch the Matrix movies, not Resurrections or Revelations or whatever the fourth one was. Rebooted. Right. It should have just been called Rebooted. That's basically what it was.
It should have just been called, why exactly did you do this? And why didn't you listen to your sister and just do something else?
That's true. That's very much the case. But I rewatched the trilogy and also rewatched the Animatrix like during that time.
Which the best part of the Matrix is the Animatrix.
Yes. And that leads into this. The Matrix comics. For some reason, it's dumb of me that it took me this long. When I was watching the Animatrix and I finished the Animatrix again, it was like maybe third time I've seen it. I was like, man, like because of this, like a Matrix comic would be good. But then it came in my head, it was like, wait, there likely is a Matrix comic. If there's like a Gears of War comic, if there's like a Halo comic, if there's this comic, that comic, there's likely a Matrix comic. Then I looked it up. There's also a big old omnibus of all of it. And so like I ordered it instantly because I also saw like there's so much like talent in this book regarding like big names that people have heard of. Like there's Bill Sienkiewicz, there's Jim Kruger, there's Neil Gaiman, there's obviously the Wachowskis. There's just so many that I'm blanking on, but it's crazy the amount of talent that's in this. And this is very much like, if you like the Animatrix, get this book. And I'm in the same vein of like the Animatrix is one of the best parts of the Matrix because it points you around this world, this universe of like, hey, what's happening over here? What's happening over there? And a good bit of the Animatrix stuff came from the Matrix comics because it was around 97, 98. They made a website and started making the comics, and it was available online in like 97 to 98. This is 4 or 5 years into the internet being public, and they were on top of it before the first Matrix movie came out. So they had these comics and stuff, and a lot of the really good Animatrix shorts that are there come straight from this. I very much enjoy this. Like I love the dream thing. Not saying this would ever happen. If we talked about like dream stuff that you would want to write or anything, a Matrix short comic is like probably top 3 for me. I really like the Matrix, and reading this, like it got the gears turning of like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. But if you're a fan of the Matrix, fan of the Animatrix, or just like seeing stuff in this world that isn't just Neo based, it's literally like all over in this world, I highly recommend the Matrix comics. Like, this is fantastic, and it's a great looking omnibus as well.
It's a beautiful looking omnibus.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And it's usually on sale. I'm not supporting Amazon, but it's usually on sale with Amazon. But you can also go to like in stock trades or something like that, and you can also get even more discounted rate sort of thing. Or you might, I don't know, check your local comic shop or local bookstore first, and then see from there. Yeah, it's a great book. And you see, I have torn out line paper as my bookmark. So I'm not even done with it. I've only read like maybe 10 stories of it so far, but it is like, I'm in. I very much enjoy it.
You know, my biggest problem here is the fact that is not a Gallows Man bookmark. I feel like this is a missed opportunity.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I could have had some promotion, but no. Yeah. I very much like. Yeah, I love the work that all those people did in that. And
by the way, I'm gonna be that person now. So when the shift begins in your add-ons, you should throw in Shift and Gallows Man bookmarks.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, let's and I'm sure they're affordable enough to be an easy add-on.
Oh yeah. Bookmarks, yeah. And if they're not an add-on, it'll likely just be a stretch goal, because we've talked about that, like me, CJ, Tate, Matt, and Ben. We've talked about, like, we've already discussed the stretch goals and stuff for the campaign whenever that happens. But yeah, bookmarks are like a very, very early on, like probably the first stretch goal sort of thing, but it just rises. I'm taking note of that. That's a good idea.
Yes. Well, we're all looking forward to it, especially since some of us got a secondhand experience checking out the ash can from your Comic-Con.
Yeah, CJ was blasting that everywhere on YouTube.
I really love that. I really love how he went for it. I really love the whole like, let's just do like old school ash can like marketing, you know, like just handing out like, you know,
true, I love it. True bootleg, like 90s, 80s, like very much like late 80s sort of thing of like, I loaded up my backpack for the day. Let's just head out, give them to people, give them to the people I need to give them.
You know, it's funny. My mother and I were talking about this, and I don't know if CJ will appreciate the similarity, but we were talking about Madonna this morning, and we're talking about her, you know, heading out to the clubs with her bag full of cassette tapes of her recordings, passing them out at clubs, you know, but like, that's the way to do it. And like, and it's funny. My mom's like my mom's 83, right? So she's like very well aware of who Madonna is, and and she was there for all of the controversy and everything. And my mom was like, you know, I don't know why people give her such a hard time. Like, you know, she actually did work hard. I don't think people understand like that she put work in.
It's just a lot of times people don't really see that behind the scenes work. They don't see the 5 to 10 years that leads them to coming into the industry sort of thing, whether it's music, whether it's comics, whether it's art, whatever it may be. People don't see that initial 5 to 10 years. They see the this person is new sort of thing. But yeah, with Madonna, like, that's a huge example of like, yeah, the hustle was there.
The hustle is real. Tate Prime, good morning.
Hey, Tate.
He's great. Thank you for joining us. There you go. There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my God, CJ being weird with cosplayers is something else.
Oh yeah, those videos.
That's. Whew. I don't even know. Most of them, most of the reactions are just them yelling at him.
Well, it's so interesting, and like I think it's very much like CJ and like just growing up and like what's got him to life. Like he's very like, and this is good. He's very just like open. Like he's just like, hey, let's talk about this. Hey, like he'll just bring something up. And sometimes that can be a detriment, but also it can also be like, okay, like he's just kicking it off. I think that's why like Insomniac Theater, why so many people like kind of flock to that or go to that is like it's just open regarding like open invitation and different stuff. And like I don't know. I think it's very much deals with CJ's personality and just like, hey, I just want to talk with people and let's talk about anything, like the Dazzler thing. Hey, I want to ask him, what did you ask these people? Like, did you just go up and be like, hey, I have this comic or that I'm doing, or I have this YouTube channel, and can you just say like CJ freaking sucks? Like can you
Yeah.
like I wonder what those conversations are. So I have to ask him about that. But
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Oh my goodness. All right. So because I was like, I gotta keep things moving. We both have deadlines.
Sorry.
All right, we're gonna move into or hate it. Now, of course, I lost. I found my list. There we go. We're gonna kick it right off. This week's list. This week's list is the weekly top 10 1 year later from November 2023 over at Cover Price. And we're kicking it off at the number 10 spot, which is Wolverine number 36. The first of the Helverine.
Okay.
Rate it or hate it.
So I haven't read any of the Wolverine stuff, but I like the design. Because it is very much just like let's just cobble these together, and I'm okay with that sometimes because it's just like yes, these are professional writers. Yes, they are giving you stories, but sometimes it is very much, and this isn't a criticism. It is very much like I have the toy chest, and I'm just like what do I want to see? Ghost Rider Wolverine. It's like, okay, like that's fun. That's fun. That can be out in the world. I haven't read it though, so I can't vouch for it. But the idea, rate it a
out of 5.
8 out of 5. Okay, out of 5. The idea, I'd rate it a 4 out of 5. The idea.
You go wisely. As someone who's read it and someone who's passionate about the new Helverine, which is Dak and Wolverine's son, I'm also going with 4 out of 5. I love this. I'm happy I have a copy of it. I even got the second print cover because I thought that was super cool. Yeah, no, I actually really do enjoy it, and I've actually been enjoying the miniseries, so I'm giving it up to it.
Perfect.
Thank you, Scotty. Join Cliff's monthly membership. It's as cheap as a Spawn comic. So thank you. I appreciate that. And again, no pressure because I'm not doing that. But again, I'm also bringing it up a lot. So whatever. I don't know. Pick up a sweatshirt. Do so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help the food pantry. I'm trying to do something. Yeah. Although I've decided now that I'm in full gear for next year, I think late January, anything else is just going to solely go into trying to back my project. If people are interested, and if they're not, they're not, you know. All right, moving to the next one on our list. Why did I jump to number 8? Why don't I have number 9? What did you do, Cliff? What did you do? Oh my God. Number 9 is not a stranger to anyone. It's the Omega Man number 3, the first appearance of Lobo.
So it's especially the cover. It's not the Lobo like we know, but I'm okay with that. That happens with like almost every comic character that you see, the first appearance or the first year of appearances or whatever, it's not what you're used to. Regarding the cover, I do like the cover. I will say it's very interesting, like the how the focus goes with it. The focus is very much the woman's face. That's the first thing you likely see because it's center as well as the coloring with it. But then the second thing is either you're scanning up, looking at Lobo and his space motorbike, or you go down and you see this giant star zooming through between her legs. It's fascinating. So
it's nothing short of provocative.
Yeah, very much so. But I'd say I'd rate it. It's a little pricey. I wouldn't like me personally, I wouldn't go out and seek it, but I'm also not like seeking like first edition or first appearance Lobo. I'd rate it 3.5 out of 5, strictly based on it's the introduction of the main man, and also it's an interesting cover to say the least.
Yeah, I'm going 5 out of 5. This is Lobo. Like there are no ifs, there are no ands, there are no buts. This meets all the criteria for a 5. You know, do I want it in my collection? Yes. Would I be proud to have it on the wall? Yes. Do I think it's a good investment because, you know, Lobo always has potential for growth? Absolutely. Check, 5. And I very rarely say that. And I'm not even that crazy about Lobo. And I'm going all the way. You know?
That makes sense.
You know? Listen, I don't know why you just brought up Shia LaBeouf, but I would totally do an OnlyFans with Shia LaBeouf. Oh, Scotty, thank you so much. He's like, I am. All right, Tate, let's see it. We'll compare OnlyFans notes. All right, moving right along. This is a favorite of mine. The next one on the list. You know what? I happen to really like the book. I don't like why the book ended up on the top 10, you know, but it is the transformation of Frankie Ray into Nova, Herald of Galactus. Fantastic Four number 244. Rate it or hate it?
I'm going to rate it. And story-wise, I know some of the story, but I'm really going off of the cover. It's a very eye-catching cover for me. I'm all about like not only like design, like the pencils, inks, but like the colors are I don't know, something about
we got
it.
Everything black, pink, purple, red, orange, yellow,
and then you got the
white.
Right there, it shines.
Yes.
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5.
You know, bravo. I also give it a 4.5. Totally worth it. I actually enjoy Frankie Ray. I like this issue. It's part of a great run. You know, everything that led up into, I forgot the name of the story where the Heralds team up to go after Morg, you know, but just brilliant. You know, and Tate, I can teach you all the tricks. You know, there's a lot of things you could do with some tape and a little bit of makeup. I can teach you. You know, it's for the kid. I mean, I come off so like horrible, but yes, it's true. I'm all about trying to help the kids. Like everybody needs help. So like my childhood was pretty good. We were definitely poor, but we had everything we wanted because my mom worked so hard. You know, she was the bookkeeper at an electronic security company when we were kids. You know, like when the alarms were getting fancier, and she was there. And one of my classmates, his dad was the alarm technology dude. You know, at the the electrical / alarm company, right? But she did that, and she took on part-time bookkeeping as well. So there was a bridal shop in town, and she lost her bookkeeper, and she showed up at my mom's door, and she's just like, please, can you do my books? And my mom did her books, and my mom was there every freaking Saturday to follow up on intake, outtake, manage to book every freaking, it was just part of my mom's routine, you know? And then my mom, and now this is another woman, Emma, may she rest in peace. Emma was my mom's friend and immigration client because my mom married a Canadian. Emma showed up and said, please help me with this immigration. I'll pay you, whatever. Let's do it. And of course, my mom didn't charge her much. My mom filed the paperwork all the way until Emma became a citizen. And then I would meet Dave in 2002, and it would turn out that Dave is Emma's grandson who came from Mexico, right?
Wow.
So that is always, really interesting. And so my mom started doing that. She's 83. We're still doing immigration. Wow. I wrote a letter last night for someone. My mom sold the tax part of the business, but she was doing the taxes too. And then, of course, that's the thing. The alarm company, the guy was like, I'm ready for retirement. That's it. I'm selling the company. And he gave my mom the office furniture for my mom's first office that she opened down in the lower half of the city we lived in. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, you really want to have an office there? Yeah, it's fine. I'm like, okay. And she was there for years. She bought a building down there. She already sold the building. This went on for a very long time, but she worked so hard, and it was, and I'm not saying that my father wasn't always working, but my mom was the first one to jump in and pick up the slack. I don't want to do disservice to my dad, but the fact is, he worked, he came home, he did a lot of cooking and cleaning, and of course, other people be like, oh, what kind of dynamic is that? But screw you. And
yeah.
I was like, he was the son of a World War II veteran, and so was my mom. So there you go. There's talk work ethics. But yeah, we always had food on the table, and that was thanks to my dad. And my dad did a lot of the grocery shopping, and he maintained a lot of stuff. And my mom was working her ass off and made sure that, my brother wanted that 8-ball freaking jacket. My mom made sure my brother had that 8-ball jacket. And that was a really big deal then, So anyhow, I'm sorry.
I'm
going off, and all this because of Fantastic Four 244.
No, that's awesome. It just shows. Well, it just shows how much she. I mean, obviously, all moms should care for their kids and care for their families, but that just shows how much she truly did, how much she wanted to provide for you. Like you said, if you guys wanted something like that 8-ball jacket that your brother wanted, she's going to make sure it happens because she cares for you guys. It's such a blessing. That's awesome.
The funniest story was Toys R Us in New Jersey, and my mother and the Nintendo, and my mom is yelling at the guy, and she's just like, you got to get in there. Boner Jams, thank you so much. I appreciate it. My mother's like, you better get in that back, and you better look top to bottom in that back room and find me a Nintendo. So that was just so funny. But she came back with a Nintendo, and she did it again for a Cabbage Patch doll,
That was awesome.
And it was so funny because, on the news, and you could look it up on YouTube, you could see people screaming, going for the Cabbage Patch doll. And my mom went to that same. My mom went to that. I can't remember the order of events, but that was the same New Jersey Toys R Us. My mom's like, you are going to find me a Cabbage Patch doll. I don't care which one she is. I don't care what color she is. We are leaving here with a Cabbage Patch doll. And she did.
That's awesome. That's just true dedication and love to family right there. So shout out to
all the moms.
To all the
moms who went the extra mile.
All the moms.
Oh my goodness. There you go. Dedication go a long way. It feels true. One day I'll reveal the OnlyFans and knock all of you on your socks off your socks. It'll be great. It'll be great. Okay, next one. Very popular. Lots of fun. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, #1.
I haven't read it, but whenever it first came out, I was like, okay, I like this. Like, I'm going to pick up the trade eventually. To me, concept as well as the covers that were coming out, especially this cover, again, haven't read it. Concept and covers, I'm leaning between 4.5 to 5, somewhere in there.
I'm going 5. I love it. I've read it. I love it. Yo, she's a killer bear. Yeah, and it's very Dexter. It's like, issue 1, I was like, oh my God, what is she doing to this duck? I'm all in. I'm all in.
Such a great cover, too.
Pizza, I have to be up. Because we gotta move because my mom and I, we gotta leave at like 11:45 for New Jersey for my goddaughter's second birthday party. You know, shout out to Madison Harley Quinn. So like, we're gonna do Jesus Christ. Yes, absolutely. For the variants, beautiful. Scotty Brett. Oh my God. You know what? Actually, it's really, I gotta rename the OF because the OF, the name of the OF, nobody can find it, and I kind of love that at the moment. But there is nothing there. If it makes anyone feel better, there is absolutely nothing there. Yeah, no, this is great. It's a great story. People should absolutely check it out. Aren't all bears killers? Yeah, but she's killing for sport, and that's the difference, Bobby.
Even scary.
When bears kill, it's like, well, I gotta eat. She's killing for sport, and that's more.
Yeah.
Look at
Regular
that
bear.
Yo, promiscuous time travel. You let me know. You wanna come to New York? You wanna do a scene? We'll do it. Let's make it happen. Oh my God, I kind of love the next one. All right, the next one is, while Frankie Ray was already been mentioned, this book where she first appears alongside the Crusader, aka Marvel Boy, before her involvement with Galactus, making it her first appearance. It's the Fantastic Four issue 164.
Oh. Is that okay? I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see who's the cover artist there.
I think that's oh my gosh, is that a Kirby cover?
I was trying to think if it was Kirby or not. Like, I see a lot of like Kirbyisms in there, but I don't know if it's someone like replicating the style or not. I'm not sure.
Well, inkers and finishers have a tremendous impact.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that could play into it.
Yep, Jack Kirby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
sense.
Oh,
wow. Okay. So, art by Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott. Awesome.
Okay.
Written by Roy Thomas. Penciled interiors by George Frez. Joe Sinnott inking. Petra Goldberg as colorist. This is an all-star book. Book.
Simply because of that team, I'm doing 5 out of 5. Simply because of the team.
Yeah. I happen to really like Frankie Ray. I don't know why. Like, when I was a kid, I was just like so excited. Supergirl, yeah. Batgirl, whoa. Wonder Girl, yes. So I'm like, female Human Torch,
yeah.
So like, it's great. I think I have a copy that's kicking around. I know I have her. I know I have copies of her other major appearances. But yeah, I'm going 5 out of 5. Out of 5. All right, the next one needs zero introduction. It's the origin of the symbiote suit in Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #8.
Yeah, this is like easily 5 out of 5. Like, it's a movement.
Yep.
Started a movement with Spider-Man, as well as like it's also a great cover. But no, it's easily 5 out of 5. There's very little that needs to be said from me about it, but the movement with the black suit and everything that spawns from that, and Venom and all of this stuff, to where you're now in the present day, and you got the what was the Venom thing that happened like in 2021 or 2022? It was like,
you mean the King in Black whole thing, and
King in Black, and then like this year, last year is like, what was it, Venom Wars or something? It's some big thing, like it's all everywhere.
It's all about what's his name. It's all about the oh my god, I can't remember the freaking Stegman's big bad. No, thank you. Yeah. Jeez, I'm really losing it. No, and the Necro Sword and all that shit, you know?
And all just starts here.
They
weren't thinking all that at that time, but...
No, of course not. I have a lot of empathy for Donny Cates. Yeah. That guy, you know.
Yeah.
I got a copy. Still, I got to get a copy. Still don't have that. Everybody wants way too much for the cons. Overpriced. That is true. It's really overpriced. But, you know, you got to fight. You got to fight your battles. And sometimes you can fight those battles on eBay and score. It happens. You know?
Yeah.
Or just wait for a local show and get in there.
Yeah, it's always funny to reminisce and think about like the past prices of a book, because back when I was buying copies and stuff like to put on the wall and stuff, I remember looking at this book, and at that time it was $50 to $60, and I remember in like very good to near mint condition sort of thing. It very much was one of those things where at the time I was like, and I was also like college kid sort of thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
so that money was precious.
I can't do $50 to $60. I'll buy this like this 0.5 copy of first appearance of Bullseye for $20. I'll be able to do that. But yeah.
I mean, you know, when I look back at some of the things where I was like, I could have done it. I don't know. I was so weak. I should have. But it's a great book. 5 for 5, of course.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, so sad. All right. But moving on to the next one. I'm a big fan. I hope you are too, because it's Dazzler #1.
I've always liked like Dazzler's design, and I've always really liked this cover as well. Like I someone will have to Google for me, but I like a lot of the 80s, like 70s and 80s covers of some of the Marvel books. The ones that always pop out to me is like Bill Sienkiewicz's work with New Mutants, like all of those covers. Like I love that stuff, and I'm not saying this is that, but it gives me that feel, kind of that acrylics / oils feel sort of thing. And this is like, regarding Dazzler, this is like a perfect cover, like and just showing you this character.
Bob Larkin painted cover, gorgeous stuff.
Bob Larkin, okay, yeah, it's a beautiful cover. 5 out of 5 for me. Like I really dig it.
Listen, I love Dazzler. I had a great time with this heavily sexist series that a bunch of pervy old men clearly were writing, or pervy young men at the time. Because dude, there is so much non-consensual kissing happening to Dazzler in the first 30 issues that it is out of control. But I love every moment of it. And it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You know? There we go. Let me make a Dazzler movie. Imagine your favorite pop star taking on the federal government, being arrested and escaping to fight their two-story tall robots in such a... You know what? I'm not hating this.
Yeah, I'm not
hating this. You know, and if we want to go the anime route, she could save the world, but she could save the world with a song about love and compassion. You know,
there we go.
Because back in the day, how many of those animes it all ended with one song? You know, it's like, this song is so beautiful. We cannot annihilate the humans.
We'll all come together in peace.
Oh my
God!
Power
of music.
You know, Scotty, I'll try. Tuesdays are so rough because we record at the shop, and I literally run to the shop straight from work, and then I've got to run home, and my mother's usually got dinner, and it's like a whole thing, and like that's what makes Tuesdays extra tough for me, you know. But by the way, I own 2 copies of the series. Good morning, Matt. Good morning. And Mint. Wait, I don't even see Mint. Where are you? But good morning, and good morning to Beck. I was like, oh, maybe she meant Matt. There we go. That might make sense. All right. So Dazzler, fabulous. Oh, we got another one in the next spot that I know people love. It's Spawn #1.
Okay.
The Todd McFarlane.
Easily 5 out of 5 for me. I've always loved like Todd McFarlane's work. I've always loved, like, someone will have to check for me, but the colorist he works with on Spawn, I love the dynamic that goes between both of them. It very much complements Todd's work, because sometimes an inker or a colorist can kind of muddy it. It's huge compliment to his work. Like, I love this cover, as well as like, hey, this spawned something that I really liked, which was the HBO Todd McFarlane Spawn show. So for that alone, 5 out of 5 for me.
Amazing. There is no reason for this not to be 5 out of 5. But as I always say, never forget, there are 16,000 9.8s on the CGC census. Do not pay too much for this book. My value is $125, unless you get the special rare screwed up copy or whatever, one of those weirdo special #1s. Okay, you negotiate that, but do not pay more than $125 for this. While there are 16,000 9.8s out there, 16,000. Never forget, unless some maniac comes along and starts destroying them left and right.
Trickling the market down.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. And all right, next. Oh, I love the next one. I love the next one. It's the Universal's Monsters Dracula #1 Lunar Retailer Thank You cover. I
really dig this cover. I haven't seen this cover till right now. Man, like, because I sometimes think about the covers and them on a wall. Because with making comics, you're also thinking about your cover, and if it's in a comic shop, you're thinking about if it's on an indie wall. Is it like what's the first thing that people see when they look at that wall, sort of thing, and or at least the first 5 books they see when they look at that wall of maybe 50 books or something. And that always plays into a factor of like some of my covers, especially like my horror stuff with having whites and reds and blacks, and this very much plays into that for me, because there are color schemes that you'll see on a comic wall or on an indie wall where it's great covers, but all of them have very similar colors to where they kind of just like are together. But then if you have something like this where it has a monocolored background or a white background or grayscale background, and then you have something that pops, colors that pop in the foreground, like with Dracula right here. If you saw that on the wall of comics, you might not be buying it, but it's going to be one of the first books you notice. So that alone, 5 out of 5 regarding cover design for me.
Yeah. You know what? I can't give it 5 out of 5 for cover design because I don't like the way the Dracula print doesn't, the name Dracula doesn't pop on this cover.
You actually, yeah, that's actually a good point.
There's that gray tone is screwing with it, and I just can't believe that no one, with all the experienced people you have working this book, no one was like, how can we address this?
I'm not backing them on this either, because I very much agree, like, that the title needs to pop more. What I think they were going for is Dracula is illuminating the room with that candle, with that light. And so the Dracula text, I think, is also a part of that, almost, of like, you're getting a little bit of the illumination. The illumination is coming off of him and his chest because the light is in front of him. Dracula, the text looks like it's behind. And so it has more of a shadowed in the background effect. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying I think maybe that's what they were going for.
Could be. I'm just it's a small point to take away from the eye-catchiness of it all, but it is.
I'd agree. Because of the title, I might do 4.5. Because
I really liked this series. I thought it was solid. It's an absolute 4. Absolute 4.
Yeah.
You know? I hope the next cover is scantily clad ladies. Oh my goodness. Actually, oh my God, Nate, your dream may come true. Your dream may come true, because the last cover, number 1, is the Amazing Spider-Man 1 in 25 for issue number 36. And it's an Arthur Adams Black Cat cover. Look at that.
I mean, Black Cat sells, regarding especially covers. Black Cat sells. This is a great Arthur Adams cover. Not my favorite Black Cat cover or Black Cat work, but this on the shelf, I'm sure within a week it was off the shelf.
It's a 1 in 25. Within a day, it was gone. It was gone in a day.
Yeah. So for the garner that Black Cat has, as well as Arthur Adams and his ability in just capturing he has a style and capturing beauty in that style. 4, maybe 4.5 for me.
I'm going to be very fair because I love me some Arthur Adams. I'm going to go with a solid 4. But mostly because I love Arthur Adams, not because this is certainly not his best Black Cat, and I don't need this on my wall,
Yeah.
So like, but it is cool. It is solid. It would look good. It definitely would look good on the wall, and therefore it gets the 4.
Yeah.
So congratulations. We completed a lovely interrogation of Rate It or Hate It, which means now, my dear friend Brandon, as we're echoing into the hollows of the morning that we need to get out of here, it is time for you to present the 5-finger shuffle.
So we're actually talking at the very beginning of the show, and my theme for my 5-finger shuffle is Superman. It's very much Superman. What I will get into first, we talked about Superman smashes the Klan. I mentioned that first.
Woo!
I don't have the 3 issues, but I have the trade. Get at least the trade if you haven't yet, people. It's fairly cheap. It's $17, but also you can get it cheaper online, sort of thing. But also support your local comic shop. That is crucial. Support them. If they don't have it, they can also order it for you. But Superman Smashes the Klan, fantastic book, as well as, like, if you don't know about it, the backup material, the supplementary material, Cliff had talked about it before, just going into the radio play or the radio drama that was in the 50s, and just going into that, and how the Klan at the time, they were very much like garnering all this political upheaval, like they were somehow like rising in power. It was very strange.
It is, isn't it? It's incredible how that can happen. It just the way that they can be so perversive in media. I mean, I'm just shocked. I don't think I've heard of such a thing in the 21st century. But please tell us more.
True. But I mentioned strange in like, especially at that time, because it very much, I'm not saying it was the first time we witnessed this, but it very much was like what is going on here?
It certainly wasn't the last.
No, not the last. But it's so fascinating reading the supplementary material at the end, because it details like how they wanted to address this and how they wanted to tackle this and also not get sued by the Klan, because like I mentioned, they like had power at that time in like actual history to where like they could get sued. So they changed it to like the Clan of the Rising Flame or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but and how they were able to tackle and address it in that radio play, which you can find on YouTube.
The Clan of the Fiery Cross.
Clan of the Fiery Cross.
And they spelled clan with the C.
Yeah. They were they were trying to be careful. It very much was like, this is who they're talking about, but because of how powerful the Klan was at the time, they had to be careful in that. But you can find that on YouTube. You can find that radio drama on YouTube. I think it's broken up in like 16 parts or something like that. It's very fascinating.
Many chapters.
But definitely read Superman Smashes the Klan. It's kind of a little bit of a retake on that radio drama. Fantastic book though. It's not long at all. Highly recommend it. Like, not just with like Superman stuff. Like, this is definitely like top 10 Superman books for me. Not just Superman stuff, but like just like culturally. Like read this book. It's a fantastic book.
And written by an Asian American too, who like he went back to the material to make it all work. And I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. Let me see. My next one, let me move some stuff around. Okay. And also, these aren't in a particular order, like 5 to 1 sort of thing. It's just all 5. My next one is this one is hits hard in my heart because of the past 10 plus years of how people see Superman. The thing is, you have the 90s. You have the 90s and you have like, heroes are cool, heroes kill. Like, this is what the superheroes are. Like, they're dark, they're twisted, and you can have that, but not all of it has to be that. And then that kind of trickles down. And then I like Injustice. But again, that is a other universe thing. Injustice happens. And everyone sees that as like, that's how you make Superman interesting. That's how you make Superman good. You have evil Superman. That's what's interesting about that character. Before, I didn't give a crap, but that's what's interesting. And so you have that, and all these people, that's now they're framing for what would make a good Superman. You have that. Then you have stuff like, I know this was written before, but stuff like The Boys, where people will look at Homelander. I'm not bashing Homelander at all, but they'll look at Homelander and be like, oh, that's what's interesting about a Superman is this evil Superman, this just horrible person. Like, that's what's interesting.
Superman, and the sad thing is he was the Superman we knew until he was broken. Yeah.
And so you have that. You have The Boys, as well as like the TV show. The TV show happens. That is really what spawns everyone looking at The Boys and looking at like, oh, that's what's interesting about Superman. Then you also have stuff like Brightburn. I think it was Brightburn, where it's the little kid psycho Superman movie, basically. Good movie. My issue with that stuff isn't with the writing. It isn't with the movies. My issue with that stuff is everyone looks at that of like, that's what makes Superman interesting. Superman, those are all essentially Elseworlds type stories. That is not what makes Superman interesting. I mention all this to say, one of my favorite, I think it is regarding a single issue, one of my favorite comics is Action Comics number 775. What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
Yes.
Written by Joe Kelly. It's fantastic book. Like, I love this book. And it was written in it came out in 2001, but it still reigns true. It still reigns so true, especially with all of the past 10 years of how people see Superman, of like, oh, what would make him interesting is if he killed or if he was evil or this or that. This was written because of the 90s stuff that was happening, when you had stuff like The Authority coming out, where it's like, yeah, like we're this is how you deal with the bad guys. You kill them. You take out the problem.
And Superman's like, I'm going to teach y'all a lesson.
Superman does that, and it's so fantastic. Like for those that look at Superman as a Boy Scout, look at him as a fuddy-duddy, whatever it may be, read this book, especially if you have that context of like the 90s, as well as like what Superman has been the past 10 years. Read this. This is what Superman needs to be. It shows a need for this character that doesn't go that line of these other characters. He's beyond that. It's a fantastic book. Superman, Action Comics 775. Highly recommend. Whether you want to get a copy to hang up or whatever, or simply read, you can probably, there's trades. You can also read it online. But 40-page story, but hits so hard, especially today. Like, it still resonates today with the past 10 years of what Superman has been. Hopefully, who's the Guardians of the Galaxy guy?
Star-Lord?
No. John, why am I forgetting his name? The guy who made the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
James Gunn.
Thank you. Hopefully James Gunn can rein it back in, like in terms of the general audience seeing like who Superman is and what Superman is. Hopefully
I'm hoping he will. I'm terrified he's gonna screw it up because because like, that's the thing. We like, let's look at what he did with the Guardians. He made 3 good movies, but he also did some quirky shit in those movies. And I'm really afraid that quirky shit is not going to work with Superman. Really afraid. So I'm nervous.
I hope he's able to rein back a little bit on that. We'll have to see. Fingers crossed. I am hopeful, though, that it'll be the swing in the right direction for Superman going forward, for people, the general audience, seeing it. Next book. Let me see. I will actually do this one. I know this is more of a DC book, but sometimes I'm not going to argue that it is strictly a Superman book, but he plays a big role. Kingdom Come.
Yes.
Kingdom Come for sure. Superman plays a major role. I mean, it's very much, I know it can be seen as like a DC Universe book, or it can be seen as a Trinity book. I tend to lean more into the Trinity thing rather than all of DC, but it is also very much a Superman book of just this need for him, because like he's the crux to this entire story. Like, Superman is the crux to this entire story, and like who he is and what his values are, very much get tested throughout the book, and like he shapes and forms into this thing that like is Superman, but it's also like going a little bit different, as well as towards the end stuff happens, and that's what the whole book is about. Father McKay, the preacher that's in this, like, Spectre comes to him and is like,
turns him into our narrator.
like comes to him and is like, you're going to make a decision, or you're going to help make a decision that it's going to decide the fate of the world, basically. And you get to that towards the very end, and it very much relies on Superman and a decision that he might possibly make. And just such a great story.
Father McKay it becomes a big part of that moment and that decision.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, like Father McKay is crucial in just talking with Superman. Love the book. Not only like great DC universe book, not only great Trinity book, a great Superman book. Kingdom Come.
You
Let me
know,
see.
I love me some Mark Waid, and he took a lot of heat this week, and people very quickly found the ugliest things to say to him, and I'm like, y'all do not appreciate how much he has done for comics. That you can
so much.
like eat as much as I crap on Frank Miller and JR because I don't like their artwork. And by the way, there is a Frank Miller book out there that I got to get where the artwork is super phenomenal. That I only recently discovered thanks to a guest on CJ's show one night. I will never take away what they've contributed to the realm of comics, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and like, so anyhow, I'm glad you brought Kingdom Come. All right, what's the next one?
Yeah. Now, like Mark Waid is great. Kingdom Come is one of my favorite DC books, but the very next one, I'll go ahead and tackle this one because it's one everyone talks about. All-Star Superman. Great book. Yep. One of the best Superman books, top 5 Superman books, at least top 10.
At least top 10. Digest version of All-Star Superman.
Yeah, I got the little digest. You got him sitting on the cloud. I've always loved that cover. That cover is like so great.
I feel like your 6'7" self and those big ass hands are just making it look like even tinier. You know,
like there's the digest. It's literally my hand.
Yes.
But yeah, Frank Quitely's art is just like so great. I know like some people are like so on his art because it's a style, it's a distinct style. But I don't know, it feels like just kind of like it's the only words I can think, like warm and inviting for this book. And that very much is like the feel of Superman in this book is this grand character, but how in his last days, how he will choose to go about those last days, like this godlike character in his last days, and essentially how he is going to depart from this earth and the things he does before he does that,
and what kind of legacy he wishes to leave behind.
It's such a great book, All-Star Superman. I really like it. It deserves the acclaim it gets, but people, like, there's more than just All-Star Superman. I highly recommend reading this, but when you're talking about Superman, it's not just this book. Like we've talked about some books today, there's a laundry list of great Superman books. But yes, definitely do read All-Star Superman, but this isn't all of Superman. Read more. There's more than just All-Star Superman.
Absolutely.
I mentioned that to say this might be a hot take or controversial thing. All-Star Superman is top 10, if not top 5 Superman books for me. My personal favorite Superman book, at least of now, is a book that came out a few years ago that didn't get a lot of attraction at the time because of how it came out. Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King. The
Walmart exclusive.
Exactly. That it was so hurtful for this great book. It was in the Walmart books.
It is one of Legion of Comics' favorite Superman stories.
It's my personal favorite Superman story. I love Superman Up in the Sky. Tom King does a fantastic job. I know people always like, and it is a theme with a lot of his books. It's the leaning into the darker and like dissecting a character and sometimes the darker elements of a character. Tom King can do hope and light, people. I promise you. Then it very much shines in Superman Up in the Sky. I love this book. I hate that it did come out in the Walmart form because barely anyone read it. Then they like cobbled it together and came out with issue by issue, like reprinted an issue. Then they eventually did trade, and then that trade, when I bought it, it's different now. When I bought it, went out of print because no one was picking it up because this was a Walmart book. Who gives a crap about that? Lately now, they are reprinting it, so people cannot have to pay $50 for a copy of this trade. I love this book though. It's, to me, I love All-Star Superman. There's a little bit in here that I think could have been cut for time, sort of thing. I'd have to look back at it, but it deals more with, like, maybe it was like issue 7 or 8. Some of the Bizarro World stuff is good. Yep. Could have been cut for time a little bit. Regarding everything else that was not
need to go that long.
Yeah, that because the book was so good, and then right there it feels like it's still good, but the pacing just goes a little bit off for me. So
yes, agreed.
That's my one complaint with All-Star Superman. Superman Up in the Sky, it's essentially 6 issues, but how it came out with Walmart is 12 issues, or not. Yeah, it was 12 pages each Walmart book that happened. So it's essentially 12 chapters, kind of. And so you get this journey of this little girl who gets kidnapped by aliens. Don't know specifically what. It's talked about some in the first issue of, like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that sort of thing. And it's very much the first issue is like, I have this responsibility here. And yes. What's so interesting, Batman has such a great moment with Superman in this book, especially in that first issue, of just being like she, like, you were her favorite superhero, like, or you are her favorite superhero. And the reason for that is because that little girl that's out in space somewhere, she is holding on to that hope that Superman will come someday, some hour. Superman will come and he'll save me. She's holding on to that hope, and Batman just, like, goes into this, and, like, the whole time I'm like, gosh, Tom King, like, you're killing me.
You know, it's so funny because my favorite moment, and I know it's Mark's favorite moment as well, is Pa Kent talking to him.
Yes.
Because Pa Kent is leading him to the answer. He's like, yes, what you have to do here is important. He's like, you know, but who else? I don't know who else is going to go after the girl. And he's like, yes. I don't know what to do, son. I'm not you. But it's not like Pa Kent isn't trying to lead him to the answer. Pa Kent is like, you know, it's in your heart, kiddo. Like,
yeah. And that's literally the first issue, to where, like, it ends with Superman going up in the sky. It's literally the first issue. The rest of it is elements of Superman, and specifically it all ties to the perseverance of Superman. That there may be these limits that are there, but Superman he's Superman. He's like the thing to aspire for. Yes, we're not going to have superhuman strength. Yes, we're not going to have this. We're going to have that. But this book, as well as just Superman as a character, is a inspiration and thing to aspire for, to aspire to be better, to persevere for each other, the love of man. Like, this story very much just sets in that, and sets in, like, who Superman is as a character through each chapter, through each trial, because that's essentially, each chapter is a trial or a challenge or a test that he faced, and how he perseveres through that because of the love of man. Superman Up in the Sky, like my favorite Superman book to date. That can always change, but my personal favorite. So if people don't have it, it should be on Amazon, or you might be able to find it in your local shop. Definitely check it out. Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was like, it shouldn't be that hard to find at this point in time.
Yeah, with Tom King booming like he has the past 2 to 3 years, like, it's being reprinted, and him being a part of the movies and stuff, I can guarantee you're going to see that a lot more.
Yeah, I hope. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And that was our 5-finger shuffle. Yes, perseverance, absolutely. All right, you can go on your day I will go on with my plans. Brandon, was a pleasure having you. Chat, you're as amazing as ever. Scotty, thank you. Brian, thank you. Everybody who turned out, you're all amazing. Bobby Leggett, Promiscuous Child Traveler, Hot Take, Tom Taylor, Good, and Tom King. Ooh, I have a neck and neck race with them because they both have highs and lows. But awesome time. Thank you. Oh, Matt Clippers over. You're a sweetheart. Best to you all. Nate, thank you. All right. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Everyone, please leave a comment. Love you all. Next week is Robbie. He's gonna be here. Rockin' Robbie. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
You should all too. Woo! And then we get into Thanksgiving weekend. Oh my. All right.
The chow down. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm like, I'm not even doing this equally. There we go. That's better. All right. Until next time, everybody. Peace out. Love you all.